maybe even from the year before.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's so nice having you here again.
Oh, Steve, I've got this message again about Reed. Is that from Merida or is it from me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I won't put Reed stop, okay?
Right, just leave it.
Okay.
Just leave, yeah, fine.
And it's 7 o'clock now. Shall we go ahead and get started?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start the recording on my side.
Hello, everybody. It's lovely to see you all again as our day 8 of our World Interfaith Harmony Week fortnight. It's not a week, it's in our case a fortnight, 14 wonderful sessions. And I'm sure the session today will be absolutely enchanting. I've met both our speakers online, but they are they've been an absolute gem. I'm really happy that Margaret introduced me to them, but more about that later. First of all, we have many people from different countries, and today we also, Karishma and Mother Jerou are in India, so we are pretty global, but it's always very good to realize where we are and acknowledge the land on which we live. We acknowledge and honor the interconnectedness of all beings, including the cosmos, the earth, indigenous peoples, our ancestors, and all of creation. We are grateful to all who came before us as part of the network of life on our planet. We recognize that as part of the life on the earth, our responsibility is to care for the land, the gifts and relationship that sustains us. We commit to approaching every interaction with reverence, reciprocity, harmony, kindness, and compassion. In healing ourselves, we heal the world. Blessings to all of you. So, Margaret, here we are at day 8. Some of you will know Margaret. Margaret is part of the, for me, she is the Interfaith Alignment. And we've been working together on the RISE sector, which is compiling all of these sessions, of course. So Margaret has been introducing me to many, many different people. And I'm very grateful for that, Margaret. And so I'll hand it over to you now, because you will be introducing our special guests today. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgana. It has been such a joy, not just this first week that we've been through of World Interfaith Harmony Week, but the months that have gone into working with the RISE sector, with the Charter for Compassion, and planning all of this. I'm just really, really grateful that Interfaith Alignment can partner with RISE in bringing all of this to you. And a huge welcome to all of you who have come here today and multiple days, because without all of this, this doesn't happen. This is how we build this global harmony, is by showing up, by being present, by learning and building connections. So I'm deeply, deeply grateful for this opportunity. And what an absolute honor and delight it is to welcome our presenters today, Dr. Karishma Koka and her dear, dear mother, Mrs. Jerou Panthaki RamMohan. They are going to immerse us in the beauty and the treasures of the Zoroastrian faith and tradition. And so I just wanted to let you know some interesting facts about them, that they have together founded an organization called Bahumata, which is a series that you can look up and follow online, promoting respect for mobeds and increasing awareness of Asho Zarathustra's messages. And other online webinar series, including The Good Mind, Nurturing Nature, and the Zoroastrian Legacy, and Progressing Sustainably Together. Beautiful things to look into. And I think you might find it really interesting that Dr. Karishma's PhD from University of Cambridge was in neuroscience, learning, and development. And what a beautiful thing it is to see that come together with their faith tradition to build understanding and peace among all people. It has been such an honor and delight to have them present with Interfaith Alignment and to work together on the Week of Prayer for World Peace. And so it's my honor to hand this day over to the two of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Reverend Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. And thank you, Morgana and Steve, for bringing all this together. We are from London, and we're here in Bangalore on a holiday. But in many ways, both Mummy and I, and I've been taught this from my very young days, that we belong to the world at large. And people around the world are part of our extension. So with that, as a thought behind our presentation today, just let me give you a little introduction. What we're doing today is an intergenerational perspective, so that the Zoroastrian faith, a way of life, brings us living wisdom that guides our actions. And in this journey that we have, as Reverend Margaret said, we've established this webinar series, and the website is here if you'd like to look up any of the recordings, to aim to build a flame of fellowship of collective consciousness, so that we nurture not just each person, but the network that contributes to the safe nurturing of each person and the environment. Because synergistically, we are all stronger together. I'm very fortunate to belong to the Zoroastrian Trust Funds of Europe, which in the United Kingdom has been established for over 160 years. And the ZTFE remains the oldest established religious voluntary organization in the United Kingdom of South Asian origin. At the ZTFE, we all strive and succeed in building cohesion and happiness between Zoroastrians of different parts of the world, together with their family and friends in society, creating this harmonious network of people. In addition, I'm fortunate to represent the ZTFE at the Barnet Multi-Faith Forum, which is the strategic voice of the faith sector in Barnet, which welcomes all peoples of all different backgrounds. And through that, we're working towards the Interfaith Week in the United Kingdom. In addition, Mummy and I, together with others, have established a network called the Good Mind Nurturing Nature. Because as you will see on in this image, the Zoroastrian faith works at the neurocognitive level, works at the level of entrepreneurship and intellectual development, technological, economic, and social development. Its foundation is based on energy in each one and in nature, and how it is transformed for the good of all. It's got messages of everything scientific, from nutrition and immunity to well-being, to human rights with responsibilities. The Zoroastrian faith impacts outcomes such as ecology, having clean air, good water, soil, and maintaining biodiversity, so that we all can progress together based on wisdom, but together towards progress that is based on righteousness and good action. I'll hand over now to my mother, Jerou, for the essence of the messages of the Zoroastrian faith. Over to you, Mama.
We are called Zoroastrians or Zarathushtri. Zarathustra was our prophet. Zarathushtri means the followers of Zarathustra, the prophet. The prophet was tortured in his very young days by the heretics and given very bad treatment. People were in conflict. There was a lot of trouble going on. People were killing each other. There were riots and things like that among various people, various kinds of people. Not the Zoroastrians, but we were called Mas Diasnis. Mas Diasni means?
Mazda means wisdom and Yasna means action. So the people who venerate wisdom through action.
Which was our religion. Religion is only a way of life which explains our day-to-day living, our harmony with each other, and various aspects of living. When Zarathustra Sahib saw what was going on in the world as he grew up, he decided to go away from this world or from wherever they were living. His parents, his brothers, sisters, his wife, his children. He left everybody and went off to Mount Ushidaren in Persia, which is now called Iran. He didn't know what to do. He wanted to change the world. His own small world that he was living in. So he meditated. Now, meditation means union with God. Those days, one thought God was living in the sky, that God was a human being, a big, huge human being living there. Of course, it's a fallacy. There is no such God. God is just pure energy and vibration, as he found out through his meditation and his conscience. He named his conscience Sarosh. Sarosh is an angel. An angel which looked after the conscience of everybody. When you listen to that conscience, the conscience tells you what you should do, what is good for you, and what is bad for you, what is bad in the eyes of the world, what is good in the eyes of the world, what is beneficial to you, what is disadvantageous to you, etc. The moment you stop listening to that conscience, it will warn you once, twice, thrice, but at the end, it'll give up. It doesn't have that persistence. It finally puts its hands up and says no more. And so a person can go wrong, but if the person is strong and listens to his own self without the conscience telling him anything, perhaps he'll be a good person. He'll do what conscience had told him in the past, and so on. So when Asho Zarathustra, Asho means pure. When Asho Zarathustra Sahib means the master, went to the Mount Ushidren. He contemplated, he meditated, he was one with God, with the energy which he transformed in his own mind into various things. Like the energy can be the clouds, the wind, the sun, the moon. There are various energies. And all those energies put together, they vibrate in this world, on this planet. When they all vibrate together, we receive that energy from wherever it comes from. It can come from you to me, me to you. It can go to the crowds. It can go to the whole country. It can go to the ether. And from ether, it may rebound like the echo onto us. Even a stone has energy and it vibrates. In the same way, the animals also vibrate. So when Zarathustra meditated and became one with God, with the united energy and vibration, he came upon his own thoughts, which were very good. So he devised a way of living with good thoughts, good words, and good actions. Now, Zoroastrian religion or Zarathustra religion, as it is called, is a way of life. It's a way of life with action. Peace and harmony are the resultant. When actions are good, words are good, thoughts are good, everything else becomes good. There is no evil left at all. There is no bad energy left at all. So when he preached this, he said to the people who listened to him, "Hear me and spread my word all over the world in all 4 directions." That means just tell everybody about good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. He did not preach anything else. He did not do anything else except to sing these in various gathas. We have 5 gathas. Gathas are songs of praise for God, praise for nature. We worship God through nature. God is, as I said, only energy and vibration, which is also in us. Therefore, we are one with God. If we listen to the words of Zarathustra and act on those words, we live those words every moment of the day or night. We worship God through sun, moon, rivers, seas, water, food, through every natural aspect of life, we worship God. Through animals, through little insects even, through stones also. Precious stones we worship. We worship God through, that give us the vibrations. And so on. If we listen to the 3 words, good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, with action.
So in these gathas that Mummy mentioned, the verses of song that Asho Zarathustra, the prophet, sang to meter and left in the memories of the priests, who then continued this tradition and maintained the knowledge through an oral tradition initially, till it was written down. A key component is to refresh one's existence with every moment, leading to a regeneration of oneself and the world around. So what Mummy will go through next is this concept that started with the words of Osho Zarathustra in his teaching of dedicating every breath, every moment of life to this divine energy and wisdom. This particular slide is adapted from Mummy's presentation at the 8th World Zoroastrian Youth Congress hosted by the Zoroastrian Trust Funds of Europe in 2023 in London. Because passing on the legacy to the next generation is absolutely key. Together with the knowledge is the interpretation of the various rituals, the prayers. And the philosophy comes through the prayers. And it's this philosophy that now Mummy will explain that the Prophet has guided us to dedicate to other people's happiness every breath that we have. And Mummy will take you through some breathing techniques that help us self-regulate ourselves, our own mind, so that we can bring happiness to everyone around us.
Ushtamaya Amai, Ushtamaya Amai, Ya Amai, Ushtakamai Chit, Ushtamaya Amai, which means happiness be to those who spread happiness and harmony with the wisdom of one's own conscience. Sarosha.
This idea of wisdom and reflection, the concept of meditation or in the Zoroastrian faith, is called Tushnamaitish, which is said is together with a sense of contemplation and compassion with contentment. So a sense of gratitude. Listening to that conscience, as Mummy said, the word in Zoroastrian faith is called Sarosh, helps us to be in so much control of one's abilities, to develop one's skills, so that we make choices with both responsibility and discretion. As Mummy explained, Zoroastrians believe in Ahura Mazda, which literally translates as the great wisdom guiding existence. And we acknowledge it within all creation, as Mummy explained, but we also understand that it is experienced and manifested through one's own inner self. So please take us through a form of breathing that will help us do this, Mummy.
Now, as Zarathustra meditated, he just closed his eyes and sat quiet in a den in the mountain. When he did that, he realized that vibrations and energy were the crux of one's life. Therefore, he devised a form of meditation with breath. One's breath is one's life. When you breathe with the thought of uniting with the divine, your energies increase, your vibrations increase. When that happens, you can reach the Supreme. We have different forms of attention and what do you call it?
Mental energies.
Okay. Now, when we breathe, we pay attention to certain things. If our attention diversifies to something else, or some evil thoughts come into our mind,
Our consciousness changes.
our consciousness changes. So he devised breathing at attention. When you pay attention to something with good intention and breathe correctly, your vibrations are bound to increase. Your energies will go up and you will have super consciousness. Consciousness is the word I want. There are 3 types of consciousness. We have unconscious mind, we have a conscious mind, and we have a superconscious mind. When we are not bothered about any particular thing and we go mechanically doing things all day long, we are unconscious about things. When we pay attention to something with intention, it becomes a conscious mind. Mind you, it's not consciousness, but it is a conscious mind. And that mind is not your brain. Your mind is your aura, the energy that is around you, the magnetism that is around you. It all forms an aura. And that is your consciousness, which is in every single cell of your body. Every single cell of your body can think. Every single cell of your body has vibration. Every single cell of your body has consciousness. Therefore, if you pay attention, rapt attention, with intention of doing good or intention of doing bad, it works accordingly. Now, the way to do meditation, as I said, is through breathing. How do you breathe? Firstly, you have to have good intention. Then you have to pay attention and focus on that attention. Then you concentrate. With your concentration, you take breaths that will help your body, your cells, to absorb oxygen. Now, oxygen is the crux of life. Without oxygen, we would all perish. Without that heat in our body, heat around us, we would all perish. If one day the sun does not come up, we feel cold, we feel dank and terrible. We don't like to be around people. We feel negative, and so on and so forth. Therefore, it's very important that we breathe correctly, get lots of oxygen, produce heat in our body, and which will help us to digest our food that we eat with good attention and intention, and gratitude more than anything else. Now, gratitude is very, very important. For every little thing that we are, we do, we belong, every little thing that is us is dependent on our gratitude. Gratitude to nature, to the divine, to the angels, to the atmosphere, to the elements of life, and so on and so forth. Even when we eat something, we should breathe correctly. And we should be grateful not just to our food, but right from the time farming is done, to the seeds, to the growth of the seeds, to the warmth that the seeds receive, to the farmers, to the sellers, the vendors, to the people who go and fetch the food, to the people who cook the food, to the people who serve the food, even if it's a mother or father or whoever it may be, or a servant. We should be grateful for each and everything. And when it comes to eating our food, when we breathe correctly, We digest well because the heat is produced in our body. Oxygenation takes place. Our blood cells increase, especially the red blood cells, which again in turn help us to oxygenate the food, and so on and so forth. Now, to breathe correctly, take a few deep breaths first. But before you do that, pay attention to your tongue. Your tongue is touched on the palate, the soft palate if possible, otherwise the hard palate at the back. Mouth should be closed. Eyes can focus a little bit on the point between the two eyebrows, very slightly upward, because that helps you to concentrate on your pituitary gland, which, if you draw a line from one ear, the top of one ear to the other, and draw a line from between the eyebrows to the back of your head, where they intercept, that is where your pituitary gland lies. And when you are concentrating on your pituitary, you are able to take in more oxygen. You're able to breathe correctly. But you don't have to concentrate on anything. It comes automatically when you turn your eyes between your eyebrows, your attention between your eyebrows. First, you breathe out, because when you have things in your hands and you need to collect something more, you drop what you have in your hands to collect something more precious. Same way, when you want to breathe properly, you breathe out first all the dirty air that's inside your body, all the waste from your body, and you breathe in with rapt attention, good intention, and with focus on your breath. With your tongue on the palate, mouth closed, and you breathe in only through your nose. So you breathe out slowly, not very slowly, but briskly. Say count of 4. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Then when you breathe in, double the number and breathe in 8 counts. The same way, you take 1001, 1002, like that, up to 8, and breathe out very, very slowly through your abdomen. You breathe in through your abdomen, you breathe out through your abdomen, not only your lungs. Your breath must come from your abdomen. Now, when you breathe, thoughts will come into your mind. Divert them onto your intentions. Divert them on good thoughts, good words, good deeds. When you do that, automatically your whole day will pass the same way as you speak or in your mind. Good words, good thoughts, good actions. And you will end up doing good actions. You will speak well and friendly to all. You will smile more. In every way, you will benefit. You will breathe better. You will vibrate better. You will have better energy. And your work will be successful.
Let's now, as we think about all that Mummy has explained, think about the world at large. Message of Asho Zarathustra, the prophet, gave a promise of a just, peaceful, and sustainable future. the compassion that he brought through this formula of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds can achieve a justice for all with equity, allowing people to share what they have without fear of holding back, because they will know that what they give will be utilized well for the good of all. With this understanding of the goodness in other people, there can be a peace and good-mindedness that resonates through nature and through the human network. As we look upon these messages of the Gathas of our soul Zarathustra, there are 6 concepts that I'll take you through now that allow us to imbibe the attributes he described for the good of all people. The verse that Mummy sang at the beginning is a verse that translates into happiness comes to one who brings happiness to others. And an outcome for the person who's giving this happiness is the strength to stand by what is right so that they can do more good. This is the verse number 43.1 from the Gathas. In another verse, 47.1, where Mummy talks about the good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, this triad of ideas, the prophet Zarathustra, who's to me a great neurocognitive scientist, coming from a neuroscience background, reading the philosophy of Zarathustra, the person, I see a philosopher who is also a neurocognitive scientist. This verse that talks about good thoughts, good words, and good deeds brings in the 6 concepts that help the wisdom, both innate and acquired by listening, both to the conscience and to others, to drive good action. So it helps the wisdom to drive good action. So the Prophet Zarathustra says, we need a good mind, a loving, compassionate mind. We need to work with truth and purity and to increase this in the world. This gives people desirable strength to empower others. So it's power to empower others, to a good power. When these 3 are brought into action, the good mind, truth and purity, and desirable power to empower others, it brings into the person a sense of benevolence and devotion that nurtures others. And this brings into the person a sense of perfection that is holistic and resilient. So benevolence and devotion bring about within each person a sense of holistic perfection with resilience to withstand what is not right and replace it with what is better, what is correct, what is empowering towards other people. And this holistic perfection can then help goodness sustain forever. When goodness sustains forever, reverberates through the world, it brings about progress that is based upon righteousness and good deeds that renovates the world. This aspect of 6 attributes helping wisdom manifest as good action, these attributes are referred to as the Amesha Spendthas, the forever immortal, bounteous aspects of Ahura Mazda, or that wisdom that guides and sustains existence. When this is achieved, it elevates not just hope and compassion, but a sense of emotional resilience, because caring for each other and caring for nature helps us to add value to other people and the fire in their belly. And in turn, without meaning to, it brings us an outcome of feeling valued ourselves. We don't aim for that, but it's an automatic outcome of helping other people to convert challenges into opportunities for good. So in the verses of the prophet, it says, happiness comes to one who brings happiness to others. Prayer is through action. Hence, Mazda Yasna. The people are called Mazda Yasnis. Mazda meaning wisdom and Yasna meaning action. And it says very clearly, this will help bring joy in the revolving world. So yes, there was science in the knowledge that the prophet Zarathustra got through the revelation he had in his meditation. And I believe that whether we are in science or governance, or we are doctors, or we are social workers, that this knowledge can come through a sense of connection with one's conscience and with the greater energy. So a fundamental message of Zoroastrianism is to nurture nature and all peoples, thereby increasing good in ourselves and the world.
All animals,
All animals.
all insects.
So let's think about this as we come to the end of the session today. That increasing good within oneself, within other people, and by building a collective network through which other people and us ourselves improve in the level of goodness, to resonate with each other at a level of goodness, automatically helps remove evil and replace it with something good. This increases happiness. It's a very simple formula that comes to us in a very simple way in the words of the prophet Zarathustra. But together with giving other people happiness, in the verse 46.16, Zarathustra, as a guide, as a teacher, says, take other people with you towards a state of happiness. He calls this Ushta Stoi. Ush means light, Ushta means happiness, Ushi means knowledge and intellect, and Ushta Stoi is a state of happiness, of bliss. And he says where Asha, meaning righteousness, Aramaiti, meaning the right mind, with compassion, Vahumano means the good mind, the loving mind, and Shatra, which means the desirable power to empower others. Where all these come together, there exists the great wisdom that guides creation, or Ahura Mazda. And utilizing one's own inner conscience to discriminate between right and wrong helps us to go there. So yes, it is very much about venerating Ahura Mazda through the fire, as many people understand the Zoroastrian faith to be. It is about our own internal fire, but also other people's internal fire, and how we might energize their goodness. As we transform our minds through the breathing technique that Mummy talked about, our pituitary increases in activity. Our pineal helps the brain resonate together with each other in synergy. When our pineal is activated the right way, as scientists understand today, our neurotransmitters are in the right balance. Dopamine, serotonin. Our adrenaline is in control. Our cortisol comes on and off at the right time. So let's look at what this achieves. It achieves a better self. It helps us improve the lives of our teams. It increases productivity in the world, in our business, in our network, in ourselves. And thus, we can nurture the world towards progress and nurture the environment that supports this progress. So we say, purify me and help me to bring happiness to other people. And through the good mind, let us bring leadership, so that through hope and compassion, we can care for each other, we can care for nature, and we can convert challenges into opportunities for the good of all. And this is what we all seek to do, I think, in one way or another, consciously and subconsciously. And as Mummy said earlier, together we can rise in the super consciousness and in our connectedness to connect us with that divine super consciousness that helps us resonate together, build compassion, and build a better world and rise together. So that together we are in alignment, we rise together, and as we build this concept of harmony in the World Interfaith Harmony Week, we all are stronger together. Anything else, Mama?
Stronger because we all breathe the same air, which vibrates, which has energy, and wherever we come in contact with anybody, we are exchanging all these energies and vibrations and so on. And it forms a chain all around the world, all around the planet, along with all the elements of nature. Because all the elements of nature can breathe, can take in oxygen, can vibrate, and so we are all one. Therefore, we are in harmony. Therefore, we should be at peace with one another and ourselves. Only when we are at peace with ourselves, we can be at peace with others. If we are happy, we can spread happiness. If we are sad, it's the other way around. If we are unhappy with somebody, that somebody is unhappy with somebody else, it forms a sort of a chain again. Therefore, be happy, be harmonious, be peaceful, and enjoy your life. Enjoyment does not come only from material things. Enjoyment comes from within oneself. If you think good, if you talk good, if you live good, if your actions are good, automatically you're healthy, you don't get any diseases, you eat the right foods, again, it helps your health, you remain cheerful, everybody around you is happy, and it spreads miles and miles of smiles and happiness. Thank you.
Thank you all for being with us here today. Over to you, Reverend Margaret. Thank you.
So deeply grateful for your words, your presence, your witness. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's so simple. The message is so clear and so simple, and yet it is down to, as you say, the cells, every cell in our body. It's so simple and it's so minute. And here we sit and we see 14 screens. And here I sit in a nation that feels like I can't look at the news. The horror, the terror every day. And yet here is a message that is so simple. And there are 14 people on this screen. And I cannot help but think it is up to you. It is up to us to live this harmony and to live this message. It is the most important thing that we can do. And so I am so grateful to you for sharing that. And the rest of us here, we have a responsibility now. We carry this forward. And I know it's a very simple and a very small thing to do, but if you can log into that Harmony Journal, and if we can flood the world with these messages, just here, start it on the Harmony Journal. Let us flood it and continue to do this work. It just, I think it's so important that we do that. So the link is there. Carry on, continue to connect one breath to another, one vibration creating all vibrations, and let us continue to show up and to live this. Thank you so much to both of you for being here and leading this.
Thank you, Rev.
Does anyone have any comments they would like to share, or questions or thoughts, or just simply gratitude that you would like to share?
I have a question. In the Hebrew Bible, there's a word that occurs only 7 times, which, from my research and perspective, it suggests that tardima, the word tardima, means deep sleep or trance, and the high priest and prophets, from my research, are the ones who really focused on tardima. I mean, in the Hindu version might be moksha, but I was wondering within your faith if there's a correspondence to a soul, an inner soul, and liberating the soul. Taoists talk about an immortal fetus that's liberated, and certainly in the Jewish faith they talk about purifying the body and liberating the soul. I was wondering if there's anything analogous in Zoroastrianism.
There is the concept of soul in the Zoroastrian faith. It is called Urvan. And the way the prophet Zarathustra describes our ability to utilize this energy, or Urvan, is in the concept of, if you look at the fire and our mind, it says utilize our fire and our mind to do all that one can to please the soul of creation. So not just does an individual have a soul, and I will show you the actual verse that has this in it, but it is about not just a single person having a soul, but all of existence having a soul. More than liberating the soul, it is the concept of resonating with the essence or the energy, or if you like, the soul of the universe, and working in alignment with it, that a Zoroastrian seeks to do. So if you look at this verse of the Gathas, or the verses of songs of knowledge that the prophet Zarathustra gave, its translation is the very first verse, and it says, with hands uplifted to pray and to help others and give support, I pray to the wisdom in my mind that is foremost beneficent. With righteousness or asha guiding all deeds, and the wisdom of the good mind and good thoughts, we seek to please the essence. The actual word is urvan, or soul. We seek to please the essence of all creation. Then, together with this concept, there's a very important concept of utilizing every moment to make the best choice to cross a bridge so that the soul is happy at the end of time. Now, what is a bridge that we cross with making good choices? One can think of it as a bridge between this existence and the spiritual existence, of course. But when one can also see that when we listen to the best, reflect on it with our intellect, and decide to take righteous action, that with responsibility, correct, using the light from the divine to purify us and show us the path, we are crossing a bridge of the separator between a wrong decision and a right decision, between evil and good. And that gives the soul a state of happiness, or the state of song, called in the Zoroastrian faith, Garodeman. So there are 2 things that help us to honor the soul. Taking the right choice to please the soul of all creation and therefore resonate with the great divine, and to create a state of bliss or a state of song for the soul to be happy in. both these, so the material choice at every moment and the spiritual moving from this existence to another existence where the soul can be happy based on correct choices, both are equally important, Howard, in the Zoroastrian faith. I hope that answers the question.
It does. I just wanted to also say that in Hebrew, the word is panimiu, which is the inner vibrational essence of all objects and beings. So we have a similar parallel kind of thinking.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Sure.
Thank you. And Fran.
Yes, so this idea of we are all one, sometimes that concept has been hard for me to understand, even though, I know it's true. But when the ladies started talking about the vibration of all things, the sun, the moon, humans, plants, all of it, and that the vibration together, we're all one. And it just made me understand it so much clearer. And also that as we do these things, so with our right thinking and right speaking and right action, that that even in this world, when you feel like you can't affect things because they're so big, this is how we can affect things, is by having our vibration as pure as we possibly can have it. So, yeah, I appreciated that a lot, thinking about that. Yeah.
Thank you, Fran. And Steve?
What has been coming up in my heart is, well, a lot of the same things that Fran was sharing, as well as how similar this aspect of everything having a vibration and an energy, and that makes us all related. That's so similar to Native American indigenous spirituality. And I think I shared a couple days ago that the Lakota have a word, Mitaquayosan. We are all related, or all my relations. And that speaks to what you're talking about. And also I spent almost a month in Japan a couple months ago, and the Shinto religion also believes this, that everything has an energy that we share with everything else, and therefore deserves our respect. And these ties from, different places around the world, I love hearing about this. And Zoroastrianism is one, it sounds more like a spirituality than a religion. It, you know, it's one spirituality that I knew very little about. So I've really appreciated hearing your message today. And sort of on a different, on a maybe lighter side, there's a classical work called Thus Spake Zarathustra, which is the background music for, oh, now I'm suddenly drawing a blank. Which movie
Is it an Odyssey?
Yeah, yeah, 2001
Space Odyssey.
Odyssey. Yeah. And I always wondered who Zarathustra was. Now I know. And it makes so much sense. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And Karishma, Mother Jerou, can you just comment on the fact that isn't Zoroastrianism is the oldest organized religion, isn't it? Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has spread from north to south east to west, right from Japan to Iran, and up north to the, what countries are there? Sweden and all these
Oh yes, we've got
places.
Zoroastrians in Sweden. I mean, there are Zoroastrians everywhere, even today. And I think if I show you this particular slide, it's the idea of Zoroastrianism. This was a symposium that we started for the Zoroastrian Trust Funds of Europe. And if you look at the logo on the left, that concept of all people being connected together and connected to the earth, and in some ways taking nourishment from the earth and protecting the earth as well, that to me is probably why, although it might be the oldest organized faith in the world, it is also the most adaptive faith, because Zoroastrian started from somewhere in the Arctic, moved downwards, helped in some ways form the area that is called Persia in the olden days, which went from Italy all the way
From
to China,
Rome to China.
from Rome to China. Then when they were persecuted there, they moved to India, and without proselytizing, without infringing upon the native people, they helped sustain themselves and contributed to the economy of India, and are loved in India.
And wherever
Absolutely.
they went.
They've gone to all different parts of the world,
And
and without
contributed to
infringing
every
upon the rights of the people they seek to live with, they're able to somehow be, I like the phrase, be the sugar in the milk.
Mm.
They sweeten the society wherever they are with their values. So to me, Zoroastrianism is a set of values. And it's a living faith, yes, but it's a set of universal values. Thank you for that thought, Reverend Margaret.
Thank you. And Leah.
I wanted to ask in which time, oh dear, my English is not good enough and I'm quite tired, so then I can't make a good sentence anymore.
You speak quite well.
Sorry? Oh,
You
thank you.
quite-
Thank you. I wanted to ask when the prophet lived.
Some say 12,000 years ago. Some say 6,000 years ago. We really don't know.
All right. Okay, thank you. The first time I heard about your faith was from Freddie Mercury, well known, because his parents were Zoroastrians. And I was very, I wanted to know more about it. And I was very moved and almost cried when I heard you say that you do what I do when I eat is to thank the farmer, the people who make my food come to me. How do you call them? Chauffeurs and all kinds of that. I really, yeah, I'm touched, I'm moved, and I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. And gratitude does not mean just saying thank you. It
No.
means appreciating every little bit of what they do, what they bring to us. Our own body, our own cells that digest our food for us, the oxygen that we breathe, the hemoglobin that we have, and so on and so forth. Appreciating every little aspect of bringing the food to us, eating it, digesting it, the water that comes from the rivers, or even from the sea is converted nowadays into sweet water. Whatever it may be. It may be spring water, it may be any type of water that we drink, any type of food that we eat, whether it's English food, it's Indian food, it's Chinese food. whatever, and whoever has prepared it with a good mind. When the food is prepared with a good mind, automatically we digest it better. We stay in good health. But as soon as bad thoughts have entered that food, the food will get spoiled. It will not last. Even in the fridge, it will get fungus. It will not have the same property as healthy food. The vitamins will be perished, and so on and so forth. So a good mind is the most important thing. Good thoughts, good words, good mind, and good act. Mind is everything.
Thank you. Am I also correct in saying that those of us who have a Christian background have known for a long time of the Zoroastrians from the wise men who visited the Christ child at his birth?
Magi, the three who went with gifts of incense and sandalwood and myrrh
And gold.
and gold. These were the gifts they carried for infant Jesus, who was born in a carpenter family, who became a carpenter, then realized what the world was coming to, his own little world that he knew was the world. And so he went to this Ushidarayan mountain.
No, Christ you're talking about.
And of course, Christ was also tortured like he was tortured, like Zarathustra was tortured.
Hence, he sought to improve. I think the more one looks at the different faiths and learns from all of us here together, the greater the similarity we can appreciate between wanting to make the world a better place, even if one has to go through suffering oneself. I'd like to share, if I can find it, a little image of, I may do this, a little idea from the Zoroastrian faith, and it's normally a ritual that is performed, but the idea behind that ritual,
Homa.
yes, the idea behind that ritual is quite interesting. I want you to think about this. It might be a Zoroastrian practice, but as a spiritual concept, it's to me quite profound. So in the ritualistic part of the Zoroastrian faith, before every particular ceremony, water is taken
That is the Mas Diasni.
from the Mas Diasni ceremony. Water is taken from the well. Think of it as energy. They then perform certain ritualistic practices such as filtering it, adding essence of herbs, adding some goat's milk, and they then perform the prayers on it. So they're adding goodness of their thoughts and intention. But at the end of the ceremony, they return that water, now energized with nutrients and their thoughts, back to the groundwater to share with all. So in some ways, this cycle of life could be seen in this. We take our soul or our energy from the universe. We also take genetic material from all our ancestors. And every time we get the flu or COVID or some infection, we're taking genetic material from other people through the viral infection that comes with it. So our DNA is also being modified from nature. So we take something. We then perform our actions upon this, our work, our study, our teaching, and we add to whatever we are doing with our thoughts and our intention through our profession, through our voluntary work. And then we give it to others, because whatever we do in this world has an impact upon others, knowingly or unknowingly. So if we seek to return it better to the universe, our soul, our energy, the energy of what food we eat, then we are actually performing this action consciously. Otherwise, we're still performing this, but subconsciously and without putting in the intent and our energy consciously. But we're still doing this in some way or the other, I feel.
That's thank you. And Morgana?
Amasdiasni.
And this was a Masdiasni ritual, but
And we call ourselves Masdiasni Zartush.
because he reformed the faith in that way, he transformed it. Yes, Morgana.
I was very fortunate last November 2024. I was actually going at COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan, and I knew there was a fire temple, the Zoroastrian fire temple there. So of course I made an effort to go, and I was absolutely amazed. One of the things that really struck me, you were just saying how about, being the oldest religion. I can attest to that because I actually stood in the middle of an oil field. Of course, Azerbaijan is now very famous as a petro state, but there I was in the middle of this oil field, and that area was actually called Black City because thousands of years ago, the whole area was alit because of the gases coming from the ground. So it was actually black. But the first people who realized that fire had such a potential that became fire worshippers. And that place is also, so it's either the beginning or the end, whichever way you look at it, of the Silk Road. So the Silk Road, right from China, right through Persia, through Mongolia, right to Azerbaijan, marked the first trade routes, of course. And in Azerbaijan, at the very place of the fire temple, there were people coming, as I say, all the way from China, from India, and at the fire temple, they've got pictures, photographs of how it was. See, the point was that the temple itself, or as a place where they worship the fire, has been there for, I think, something like 6,000 years. Okay. In the beginning of, I think it was about 1910 or something like that, that's when people realized that oil was absolutely valuable, of course, as a commodity. Going back to the Silk Road. But in 1970, of course, the temple then declined, but in 1970, they realized that actually the temple also had cultural value. And of course, the fire as a source of not just energy, but of wisdom. And the importance of the Zoroastrian faith was also recognized. So I was absolutely thrilled to go there. And of course, there is the fire, the eternal fire, but it's fire from gas. It's not fire from wood, and it's still the gas. Can you believe this? 6,000 years later, there is still gas coming from the land. So it's so rich. It's absolutely incredible. But of course, people realize as well that how important fire was. So I've put a couple of things on the Harmony Journal, but it just shows how the essence of fire was known also to people coming from India, from China. So in that sense, it's become so embedded. I think some of us actually don't realize how we are aware of that sacred flame until it's actually pointed out to us. It's something like, it's so obvious that we've forgotten. So I was so thrilled to be there at the temple. I sent of course Jerou and Karishma, I sent them photographs. So if you ever go to Azerbaijan, do go to the Zoroastrian fire temple. It's absolutely wonderful.
Thank you very much, Morgan. Since you mentioned the fire, I think it's really important for us to appreciate that Zoroastrians venerate Ahura Mazda through the fire. But they also venerate this great wisdom guiding existence, Ahura Mazda, or that divine energy, through the fire within all nature. So it is the fire that we see as fire, but within water there is energy, the air has energy, and every part of nature has that fire, like other people have fire. So when we see the fire, It's the word for fire is Arthur. And when you translate it linguistically, it actually translates as the transformer. So the fire in our mind is what protects us, says the Gathas or the songs of wisdom from the prophet. And when we perform what's called our individual ceremony, which we pray every day, we actually state this. It is Atras Cha, that is the fire, and the mind, Manangas Cha, that protects us and helps us to do good. That's all. I just thought I'd share that. And
What is that? What is the language, Karishma?
the language is called Avasta.
Okay. As is the holy writings. Yes?
As holy writings, which is also called Avasta. And the script that it was then maybe hundreds or thousands, maybe some 1,000 years after the prophet, was put down in a script called Dine Dabire. So the script came much later. And this concept of honoring people who do good actions is to honor people of the past, present, and future. And this is very key to the Zoroastrian faith, as is wisdom, as is listening, as in making choices with responsibility and discretion, is to shine the light of our mind for others to follow. So this fire that we venerate the great divine through, we don't venerate the fire, we venerate the divine through the fire, is so that we can shine the light for other people to take good action, not just ourselves. So that we honor all those people who take good action, irrespective of gender, place, irrespective of anything other than their good thoughts and good actions.
Thank you so much. So much to marinate. Steve, can you tell us what's happening tomorrow?
Certainly. So tomorrow will be a presentation by Dr. Rose Bowie on Living Wisdom, the Cow Die Perspective of Welcoming All Peoples Through Harmony. We're invited to join her as a representative of the Cow Die spirituality in their 100th anniversary of the founding of that spirituality. We will learn about the Cow Die spiritual practice, which accepts practitioners of all religions, which have risen from who they call one supreme being. And this is the same source, divinity, and energy which unites us all by calling us into harmony with all beings. So I hear some resonance about through the Cow Die spirituality. They have their own take on this, but there is some similarity in terms of that the call to harmonious action and how we all have this one supreme energy, or in their words, being within our hearts, within us. And I love all the interrelationships that we've been talking about this last week. And tomorrow's session will be at a different time. Unfortunately, it will be very late for you in India because it starts at 12 noon here on the Pacific coast in the US. But it will be recorded. And it will be late in Europe also. But she's, the Cow Die religion, I believed it may have started it started in Southeast Asia, so in the Vietnam, Cambodia region. And she wanted to be sure, that's the sort of time zone that she's working out of.
Wonderful. Thank you to everybody, and especially to you, Karishma and Mother Jerou. Deep blessings to you all on your day. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hi. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you look
you.
religions, They
Such a
all
blessing. Thank you
essence.
so much.
Pardon, what was that?
All religions have the same essence.
Mm.
When I was expecting my child, my first child, that's Karishma, and my only child. I'm married to, I'm a Zoroastrian, but my husband was from the Sanatan Dharma, that is born Hindu, but he followed all the religions of the world, the essence of all, because he was in the services in the Navy. And in the services, all they worship is their service to the nation, nothing more than that. So he was very amenable to Zoroastrianism. And when I used to pray, he used to start praying along with me. But when it came to giving birth to my child, I wondered, I said, what religion will I teach her? So I read up about all the religions in the world and came to the conclusion that they all preach the same thing, the same essence of goodness, of harmony, of love, of kindness, compassion. There is no difference between one religion and the other. They all teach the same thing. So when she started growing up, I taught her every religion possible. I spoke to her about various things. I gave her stories from various places and various peoples. And today, she has come to the conclusion that I had, that all religions teach the same thing. No religion says kill. No religion says hurt anybody. No religion says snatch from anybody or thieve anybody. No religion says kill anybody or do any harm to anybody. It's just the misinterpretation of a few greedy people, a few nasty people. There is a lot of negativity in the world. It is they who want power. It is they who want everything for themselves, that they misinterpret various religions. Otherwise, there is a Hindu terminology called Sanatan Dharma, means it's a religion of all religions. It follows the essence of all religions. That was the first religion of India, and it still remains the same. So Karishma was following humanitarian religion. Her school asked her, what is humanitarian? Like vegetarian, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, and so on. Do you eat human beings? Human flesh? So Karishma says, no, humanitarian religion is full of kindness, love, and compassion, and so on and so forth. She gave them a lecture. As young as she was, she held on to the microphone and wouldn't leave it. Even when the principal wanted to talk to her, she just stood there firm and kept on talking. She was hardly 5 years old.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
So wonderful.
It's been a lifetime of wisdom. Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you. Bye. Rest well.
Bless you all.
Bless everyone.
Stop the recording, Steve.
Oh, yes.
Did it stop?
It stopped.
Oh, it's still recording.
I think that's the AI.
That's
That's
the read again. It's the audio. It's the dictation.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
Liz,
have they already left?
May I ask something?
Yeah, go ahead, Leah.
All right. Are you aware that the second meeting isn't online on YouTube yet?
No.
Oh,
We've got the first, the third, but not the second.
Oh, okay.
So just wanted
which one's missing then, Leah?
oh,
yours.
that's the one that
Oh,
is posted through Alignment.
okay.
I don't know
Oh,
if
the second. Yes. That's celebrating Imog.
posted on the Alignment website. If you go to that, Leah,
It's not on YouTube.
it
No.
is. It's through the Alignment website. So I'm just gonna put the link in there. If you go there, you can find the YouTube video. I don't know.
Right.
My dad did not put it on the my audio. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Enjoy
This was,
Bangalore.
this was lovely.
Yeah. I got the link, but I think I got the unlisted link.
Yeah, so oh
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, I've got a
Public.
yes, because Margaret, I said to you, it's such a shame because your voice was very, very low. Do you remember I said to you
Yeah.
the very first day, I said it was a shame your voice was extremely low. And then,
Yeah.
but fortunately, well, fortunately, whichever way you look at it, my voice was fine. So I did get the link.
It is, there are 38 views on it. It's public.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, Leah, what's happened?
No, I think Leah's looking at the Charter for Compassion YouTube channel, and it's on the Alignment YouTube.
Oh, no, it isn't there. No, it isn't. So Leah, you have to find it via Interfaith Alignment. That's correct.
Yeah, I just put the link in the chat.
Yeah.
I've copied it, so I will look tomorrow when I've got time.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, y'all. That was lovely.
We can all have a sleep in tomorrow morning. Thank goodness.
Yes. All of
But
that.
we'll definitely see each other. Is there going to be a weekly meeting on Monday, Steve? Because our sessions are conflicting again, I think, on Monday.
No, Monday session starts at 9. So our the volunteer session with the charter starts at 7 Pacific time.
Okay.
And that session will be a 2-hour session because we're meeting with the board
Okay.
as well.
What time is the session tomorrow?
So at 12 noon Pacific time.
They're there's only 2 that happen at 8, and the rest of them are at 9. Your time.
7.
No. I think it's
From now on.
from now on. It's
From now on, yes.
Yeah.
9 on Sunday and Monday, and then it's 8 on Tuesday, and then it's 9 Wednesday, Thursday, and then it's 8 on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
No one on the Pacific Coast wanted to get up.
Okay.
I'm not surprised, Steve. I think you're very brave getting up at 6:30, clocking in. I don't know these times even exist. But it's wonderful anyway. Yeah. But it was I just love this duo. I mean, they just have this the way they interact is just infectious, isn't it? It's infectious. And I used to think
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. They're
Each other.
lovely.
So I've in contact with a couple of people from the Barnet multi-faith. They have the multi-faith centre. That's where they're actually at normally. So I've got hold of a couple of people from England just to say, you know, come on board. And of course, they're really happy. I didn't realise they were actually in Bangalore, but I have contact with the Barnet multi-faith. That's their kind of home. And that's quite an active multi-faith centre actually. So we'll be hearing more from Barnet in London. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go.
Okay, see y'all. Bye. Have a good
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.